that this group enjoys, and everybody wants you to succeed. If I can use 3 words, it will be like simplify, synergize, and scale. That's the kind of approach in terms of the business performance. But you will not find me wanting in setting up a very high aspiration. Count on me on that.
Tata Group's marathon man N Chandrasekaran gets another 5 years at the Bombay House Corner office. Now, the Tata Sons board has reappointed him as the executive chairman for another 5 years. And in a statement, Chandra said that he was delighted at this opportunity. An avid photographer who is fond of long-distance running, Chandra's elevation to the Tata Sons' top job came in the aftermath of Cyrus Mistri's acrimonious exit from the group. Until then, Chandra, a trusted lieutenant of the Tatas, had helped TCS and the crown jewel of the Tata Group, TCS. But the last 5 years with Chandra at the helm of Tata Group, the group has seen rapid growth. The market cap of Tata companies have risen by 188%. It now stands at over 22 lakh crore rupees. Chairman Emeritus Ratan Tata, special invitee to the board meeting today, expressed his satisfaction on performance of Tata Group under Chandra's leadership. So that's one of the biggest corporate developments in India that we are talking about, a long-awaited extension, and today it has been announced. Let me welcome on the show an esteemed panel of guests joining in to take this particular discussion forward on Chandra's reappointment at the helm of Tata Sons. We have with us Amit Chandra, the former member of the Tata Sons board, Zia Modi of AZB and Partners. Also joining us, Gopal Jain, a senior Supreme Court lawyer, V.R. Mehta, the former trustee of the Dorabji Tata Trust, and Vallabh Bansali, the chairman of Enam Group. Lady and gentlemen, so good to have you on CNBC TV 18. Starting with you, Amit Chandra. Of course, you were part of Tata Sons board when N Chandra was first appointed as the executive chairman. How do you see this particular extension and how important was this reappointment?
Thank you, Nisha. Look, this is a very logical decision for which I must compliment the board of Tata Sons and importantly, congratulate Chandra as well. Chandra has done a phenomenal job in his first term, but I think only the foundation work for a new Tata Group has begun. And this extension actually provides the opportunity for continuity to complete a very important job for the sake of all stakeholders.
Right. And in your assessment, how has been the tenure and the performance under the leadership of N Chandra of Tata Sons? He also came at a time when Tata Sons was facing a lot of challenges when it came to the leadership crisis at the group. You think the board at that moment made the right decision and the current board in also extending it. So what have been the key highlights according to you, and what should N Chandra's focus be for the next tenure?
So, Nisha, look, if you step back and think about it, his first term has really been focused on 3 things. Establishing one Tata, building a leadership mindset amongst the operating companies, and then ensuring that, all of that gets translated into best-in-class performance across the group. Now, I remember that people were very impatient for the first 2 years of his tenure when he was, setting the plumbing right, doing all these things. But the results are evident. You had a slide up. And, in the second half of his first innings, the Tata Group has vastly outperformed the index by nearly 80% since he has taken over. Importantly, this is not because 1 or 2 companies have done well. 2/3 of the listed Tata Group has outperformed the index. The proof is in the pudding. And, so his performance has been absolutely, remarkable. Many of the key issues which existed when we appointed him have been set right. And he's really laid a great foundation for the future at a point of time when India is at a great inflection point for a wonderful 10 years ahead. On your question on what should be the priorities, look, I really think it's for the board and for Chandra to work together and set the priorities. But I've heard him make all the right noises. Digital, I think it's very important in India's future, and therefore for the Tata Group to really embrace digital. He's talked about clean energy and mobility, and he's talked about health. I think all these will be very important priorities for the Tata Group in the future. Given my personal bias, I was a nominee of the trust, and the ethos of the group obviously is deeply embedded in social change. So as the group has now set right the issues relating to cash flow, what I really hope for is that it will be able to dividend a lot more to Tata Sons, and Tata Sons will be able to dividend in turn a lot more to the trust, and together, both the group and Tata Trust will be able to contribute a lot more towards nation building. And that's a hope and prayer that I hope for the next 5 or 10 years ahead.
That's right, Amit. And a stamp of approval also came in from Ratan Tata, who was a special invitee in this particular board meeting. And he has said that the progress and performance of the group under N Chandrasekaran has been satisfactory, and therefore he wanted him to continue for the next term as well. VR Mehta, being a part of the trusts, how do you see this particular support coming in from Ratan Tata, who's also at the helm of Tata Trusts? Mr. Mehta, can you hear me? All right, let me take across the question to Zia Modi. Zia, you've really tracked and you've counseled Tata Group on many occasions and at the darkest hours as well. How do you see this particular move of extension to N Chandra, who had come at the helm, as one of the stabilizing factor and a credibility that at that point Tata Sons really needed? Was this absolutely important for the continuity of leadership and also go past the demons of the Cyrus Mistry saga?
So first of all, congratulations, Chandra. Couldn't be happier. And sorry to spoil the party, Nisha, but this is not breaking news. I don't think there was any question in at least many of our minds that he had to be extended. There was great performance. Your tracker is flashing that he upped the market cap by 188%. I think Chandra's first 5 years have been just what brand Tata would have wanted, and Mr. Tata. Deleveraging hugely, creating value, getting into the digital space, getting into electrical vehicles. I think that is his current baby right now. And pulling off Air India, no mean feat. So I would think that this is no surprise or shock to the market. It was something that had to come, and deservedly so. I think that he has managed to calm the group. He has managed to create leaders. He has the glory of having Tata Consultancy give him 25 billion of revenue last year. And I think that journey will continue. Wiser, more thoughtful, more purposeful. And I certainly look forward to it.
Right. While Zia, you say that it is not a breaking news and it had to come in your mind, but it also took so long for the extension to be finally announced for a large group in terms of articulating the business continuity and leadership continuity. But I'll leave that point at that and touch base with VR Mehta again. Mr. Mehta, how do you see this particular move, and also Ratan Tata's, support coming in for N Chandra's second term? How do you see it from the trust's angle, which Ratan Tata heads?
Yes. Let me begin by saying first that I'm very happy and I must congratulate Mr. Chandra for this extension. Now, I'll take you back a little. When this decision was initially taken on 24th of October 2016, at first at our Tata Trust, when I was a trustee there, then it was decided that we'll let Mr. Cyrus Mistry go and have a new chairman and managing director. And then initially Mr. Tata was the interim chairman, and later on 16th of February 2017, Mr. Chandra was appointed. And at that time, I had been asked by many channels, including yours, about my reaction, and I said it's an excellent choice. Mr. Chandra was a known performer. His record at the TCS was absolutely wonderful. And at that time, I had mentioned that the main challenges facing the Tata Sons were that its main revenues or the main profits were coming only from two star performers. One was TCS and the other was JLR. And I also mentioned there that both of them were expected to face headwinds at that time. And if the other companies don't pull up their socks, then there'll be problems at Tata Sons and also consequently for the Tata Trusts. And this is exactly what happened. JLR took a good beating because of the change in economic situations, global economic situations,
Yes.
and meltdown in the world economy.
Yes.
Because of pandemic also.
Yes.
And TCS, of course, did not really have to face any big headwinds.
Yes.
And they went on from strength to strength and are doing very well.
That's
But
right.
the most heartening part is that now the other companies of the group, the flagship companies, you take Tata Power, you take Tata Steel. Tata Steel is now becoming one of the jewels of the group, having performed so well in the last 3-4 years.
Yes.
That, or 2-3 years at least, that today the Tata Group is looking at different group,
Yes.
and it has outperformed even the indices.
That's
Your
right,
group.
VR Mehta. In
And-
fact, debt resolution was one of the most important mandates that was ahead of N Chandra in his first term, and a lot of companies have revived. On the other hand, simplification as well as cluster formation has also been a cornerstone of his leadership. Vallabh Bansali, close market watcher, and you have looked at the M&A of Tata Group as well. Now, it had been a very active 5 years when it came to a lot of these activities. How much of the performance will you attribute to the market momentum, and how much to the leadership strategy as well as the thought given by N Chandra? You're on mute, Mr. Bansali.
So joining the chorus in welcoming Chandra for an inevitable, imminent second term, I would say that brave people deserve a lucky break. So I don't think he got any disproportionate break of luck. As a matter of fact, I would like to put in context or perspective what he has achieved. When he came, the challenges are enormous. It was not only a Tata crisis. In my own mind, I never went public. It was an India crisis. The biggest industrial house, the most respected industrial house, had issues of conflicts. There were big corrections to be made in all the big companies. Several, I shouldn't say all, but Tata Steel, Power, they had that huge telecom issue, and so on. And there was this equity crunch. At a time when we were worried about leverages of all the several industrial houses, Tata was one of them. And the biggest of all, culture of Tata is a national heritage. And we had to make all these corrections, keeping culture sensitivity. Yes. What Chandra has achieved is extraordinary. I mean, he's got a Padma Bhushan, but I would give him a Bharat Ratna because, as I said, it was not a Tata crisis. It was an India crisis that he had to face. And Chandra has shown, something, I think one of the most important things from my point of view is that I do not find too many people in India at his level who understand business, profit and loss account, and balance sheet, all three. So not only he brings the qualities of a marathoner, which is like, patience, long-term thinking, long-term vision, but this combination of astute business qualities, that is what has enabled him to be a very, very very different Tata person.
That's
He
right.
will ask the most compelling questions with his, smile, well-known smile.
Yes.
This is something that we did not always see at Tata's. We saw corrections waiting to happen for long periods of time. Now they happen very quickly. The kind of losses that he absorbed in his last 5 years are staggering. I don't think many people have done the math, but kind of checks that he had to write out for, all these corrections and then raise equity.
That's
He
right.
did not flinch, acquiring Bhushan and other assets in the same meantime.
Yes.
So I think while the last 5 years were corrections and we have the most cultured and clever person to, having done whatever he had to do, the future is even more exciting.
That's
And
right.
I think I'm most excited now about the future. He having saved the situation in the past and just more than Tata House. So if you permit, I want to say 2 lines about the future.
That's right.
The future in India today is digital, of course, but it's an aspirational country. While Tata House, was getting into correction, fortunately, India today stands corrected like never before. And it's a country full of aspiration. It's not frustration, but as this aspirational country comes ahead, the opportunities and challenge will be very different.
Yes.
And I, as a citizen, a small citizen of this country and a great admirer of Tata culture, it would be fantastic if Tatas grabbed that opportunity because they would do it right. They would do it for the long term.
That's right,
I think this
Vallabh
whole
Ansari.
retail and digital space and the new technologies which are all waiting to break through. What
Yes.
you're seeing on the surface are probably still 5-year-old technologies which have come to the surface. But what is going to come out in terms of health, material sciences, communication, defense, etc., all yet to emerge.
Yes.
I'm sure that Tatas have some plans about it, and Chandra will be the right leader
Yes.
to harness them and take them forward.
That's right. The new age companies, the digital super app that they're working on, they have made some significant acquisitions there. The renewable energy space as well as electric vehicles. Tata is present in all of them, and Vallabh Ansari very rightly pointed out also N Chandra had taken the lead at the peak of chip crisis that Tata Group will be entering into the manufacturing of that for India to have self-reliance in this particular space. But one important aspect and the success for Tata Group under his leadership came at the fag end of his first year's tenure is Air India buyout, a homecoming for Maharaja. Gopal Jain, how complicated was this process and how smooth was the execution?
Well, let me start by saying that having taken guard, it seems to be a marathon innings that Chandra is out to play. So like with everybody else, I wish him a long innings. Second, as you said, Air India, happy homecoming, no dispute. This is very important because usually all divestment, disinvestment result in some form of dispute. So again, great credit to the Tata culture that it happened with no controversy, no dispute. And initially, as you know, it was a non-starter, didn't take off. And the moment Tatas came, it was again successfully resolved. Third, if you remember, even the Supreme Court landmark judgment against Cyrus Mistry also came in his tenure. So a lot of legal victories under the belt, and in legal battles as well, I find the Tata culture of principle-based arguments and fights, not acrimonious stroke contentious fight for the sake of fight approach. So I think all of that will hold them in good stead as they go to new businesses, because you certainly want to stay off courts in disputes, particularly in digital technology, getting into the e-commerce space as well as e-pharma, etc. So I think that the leader's flight has truly taken off, and I think under his leadership we will also see fewer legal battles, which is also a sign of coming of age in a very dispute-oriented culture that we have.
That's right, Gopal Jain. In fact, very well pointed out because the crux of the matter with Cyrus Mistry was it was not in line with the ethics and ethos of what Tata Group wanted with respect to Docomo in particular. But Zia Modi, now what lies ahead also is the unfinished agenda of the Cyrus Mistry saga. An amicable settlement as well as terms of separation is going to be one of the very crucial aspects which will be in N Chandra's next term. Would you agree?
I don't want to comment on this one, Nisha.
Right. So how do you see the future course of action and the growth under N Chandra, Zia?
So I think that, the sky's the limit. First of all, Chandra as a personality is hugely aspirational. And he absolutely reaches for the stars all the time, always pushing to higher and higher heights. I think that with the first term having deleveraged so significantly, if you look at the growth that has happened side by side, if you look at the super app that he's looking to develop, very excited about that from what I can see, and enough on his plate. So simply if he continues to consolidate and start some new initiatives, I think 5 years will go by very quickly. Really what he has to continue to do, which I have no doubt he will, is to continue with the governance foundation, to have prudential ways of getting the group together, to encourage Group Tata to go for nation building projects, which I think is already as part of his vision. And to really see that underneath the leadership beneath him gels, is collegial, becomes more unified, and basically just stays brand Tata.
All right. And Gopal Jain, the important question that I posed to Zia, would you like to take that on the separation and the settlement? Is that going to be very crucial?
Well, I think given, as you said, the ethos and culture, all disputes have to come to an end. And like you said, when you get into new businesses, you don't want the baggage of the past and the legacy. So I think in normal and natural course, the process must start and, as you said, be taken to its logical conclusion. And I have no doubt in my mind that having won a principle-based victory, the Supreme Court having settled the shareholder issue, I think this is something which is the next leg, and one has to go for complete closure and separation.
All right, so that will be watched out very closely, apart from the new age businesses as well as the already existing flagship businesses and their growth under N Chandrasekaran. But final word to you, VR Mehta, very quickly. Tata Trusts is due for a succession planning. How do you see that evolving? And also the changing role of Tata Trusts when it comes to Tata Sons operations?
Well, Tata Trust leadership issue has to be handled as time passes. But the few steps that have already been taken, one of them is that there's now a vice chairman. Mr. N Srinivasan is the vice chairman. So in that sense, there's a hierarchical setup now, and it is not as if there'll be complete, chaos kind of a thing in the event of a sudden change in leadership. And as far as the present leadership is concerned, Mr. Tata is providing excellent guidance. In fact, one of the major issues which hampered the performance of Tata Sons was that Mr. Mistry was not willing to take advantage of the experience and the ethos that Mr. Tata brought to the company as chairman emeritus. And that is where the problem started. And now I think the Tata Trust is continuing to benefit from the leadership of Mr. Tata. And he's also providing help and leadership to the Tata Sons in a limited way, in a very limited way. But his passion for the group and now for the acquisition of Air India, I think will be something which will be an X factor, which will keep the Tata Sons going forward.
Yes. All right, VR Mehta.
That's a very important issue, which is not normally appreciated, or which is in the background most of the time.
That's right, Mr. V.R. Mehta. I thank you for your insights and everybody's reactions on N Chandra's second term as the chairman of Tata Sons. Thank you so much, Amit Chandra, Zia Modi, Gopal Jain, V.R. Mehta, Vallabh Bansali for joining us for your quick take on this very big corporate development. And Tata Sons 2.0 under N Chandra's leadership is likely to be very exciting, and we'll all look out for it very, very closely. With that, it's a wrap on this special episode. We leave you with some excerpts from our conversation with N Chandra back in 2017 post his appointment as chairman of Tata Sons. Goodbye.
I spent the first month or so looking at all the data and taking stock, and then I formed an agenda which I played it back to the board later on. I think fundamentally for me it's about there are big positives first of all in the group. I was just completely overwhelmed by the level of support I got from within the group as well as from corporate India. And the single most thing that also impacted me is the level of trust that this group enjoys, and everybody wants you to succeed. So there's a tremendous amount of goodwill. While the strength of the group is the portfolio and the platform that you have, and pretty much we have a tremendous opportunity in each of the sectors. On the other side, the complexity of the group, it's extremely complex. And if we have to move forward, that has to be addressed. So in a manner of speaking, I feel if I can use three words, it will be like simplify, synergize, and scale.